Thanks to the rising popularity of point-and-click adventures on consoles, mostly due to the Telltale Games' Walking Dead series, developer Don't Not had the opportunity to craft and present an episodic story-driven experience, mixing the absurdity of a girl who discovers she can rewind time with the realities of bullying and sexual assault and how it affects the victims and perpetrators. Life is Strange gained critical acclaim and encouraged both a prequel and a sequel, with the latter coming out during the latter half of 2018. Between those adventures, the developer decided to give fans both original and potentially new a chance to experience what was to come with Life is Strange 2 by controlling Chris as he explored a world unseen and hidden from anyone who couldn't delve into his imagination. Having enjoyed the original game in the franchise, its prequel Before the Storm, and the free offering that proved as a precursor to Life is Strange 2, paving the way for the officially numbered sequel that reasonably garnered mixed reviews for its heavy-handed writing in regards to xenophobia. The narrative prequel to the original was handled by another studio, Deck 9, who did a rather impressive job attaining the raw emotion of its plot successor. Deck 9's efforts paid off as they were given the task of providing gamers a new, full-blown Life is Strange experience that seemed poised to be just as remarkable as the first iteration. Like every Life is Strange experience thus far, players take control of a new protagonist in Alex Chen, a 21-year-old woman who has been shuffled from foster home to foster home back to a group home. Thanks to her brother Gabe Chen discovering her whereabouts, Alex has the chance to move to his new hometown of Haven Springs. Haven's idyllic nature is offset by Alex's powers of being able to feel the emotions of townspeople, reading their thoughts, and slightly seeing the person's memories. Alex's powers also tie into the game's few puzzles and character-specific collectibles. Some collectibles are easily missed if the player isn't constantly tapping the scan button, the L2 trigger on the PlayStation versions. But this entry does have a chapter select and a collectible tracker that allows gamers to replay sections of said chapters without overwriting their save and decisions. After a little over 10 hours, I attained all the collectibles, saw 2 endings of the 6 associated with a pair of choices offered at the end connected to Alex's actions throughout, and attained the Platinum Trophy after the game hard crashed and I had to replay the final chapter from the last checkpoint. Alex Chen's journey into her new life as a normal person living in a quiet Colorado town is quickly changed due to her ability to sense the emotions of others. A quick physical disagreement puts Alex even more under the spotlight and scrutiny of people she doesn't know and don't know her or her ability to discover how someone really feels. It's through Alex's powers that she usually has to make important decisions and complete puzzles that aren't complicated, like assisting a woman retrace her steps after a very stressful day. As the story progresses, so too does Alex's need to explore the depths of her powers, causing intense moments where she either removes a strong emotion from a character or not. Though True Colors doesn't feel like it has as many grandiose or even minor choices compared to the previous major installments, this iteration of Life is Strange shows just how every decision, no matter the initial significance, can have dire consequences, like not telling a parent about their kid going exploring by himself because Alex obviously believes this hometown child has a better idea of Haven Springs than this latest transplant. There is a lacking implementation in regards to the choice system and character interaction. Romance. Alex has the opportunity to find love between one of 2 characters, though the male character feels like he gets a little more attention in regards to emotional moments that feels like 2 people bonding romantically. Unfortunately, the story's romantic element feels unnecessary, especially considering the crux of the story doesn't need to add depth to Alex's relationship with the potential love interest. Beyond Alex's interactions with major NPCs are the aforementioned collectibles connected to using her powers when moving through Haven Springs, as well as the introduction of side quests. While side missions sound profound in a game like this, in truth they are very minor fetch quests, including helping a bird watcher find a rare bird by going a few feet to her right. There are also little things like mini-games, including an arcade cabinet that can be played both in-game and through the main menu, caring for the garden on the roof of Alex's apartment, and even taking part in a live-action role-playing game. Beyond the new character's environment and of course Alex's powers, is the fact this is the first game in the franchise released as a single entry instead of being episodic in nature. This decision is both a blessing and a curse, with the prior seeing the developers and writers not having to cap off each of the first 4 chapters with some monumental moment to convince a would-be consumer to buy the next episode if the game was released in the same manner as its predecessors. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the lack of an episodic release schedule doesn't give players the chance to really digest the big moments of a chapter before moving on to the next. Technically, Life is Strange True Colors suffers from some of the same issues as its prequels. The lacking of choices in certain dialogue situations and completing particular tasks, as the narrative isn't as open as one would hope. Frame rate issues are a lot better compared to its strictly 8th generation counterparts, but problems such as NPCs becoming unavailable to interact with when they should, screen blackouts, and hard crashes during the game's final chapter has hindered many gamers' enjoyment. The soundtrack, as per the norm with a Life is Strange game, is phenomenal, featuring a mix of new age folk, indie pop, and rock. Voice acting is mostly top-notch, with Erica Mori delivering a dynamite performance as Alex, Han Soto as Gabe, and Stephen Austin as Jed Lucan, the local hero, barkeep, and general stereotypical looking, though not stereotypically natured woodsman, are no slouches in the voice acting department either, really anchoring their characters and the story. The voice acting is complemented by the game's art style and rather dynamic facial depictions. True Colors really feels like Deck 9 taking almost everything that made the previous entries so fun and giving it their own unique spin. Alex's powers play a major role in the story without it being the sole reason for the plot. Spectacular voice acting, strong narrative pacing, and mostly fantastic characterization arguably makes this the best Life is Strange iteration thus far. For those who weren't too fond of Life is Strange 2, but loved the original installment in the franchise and its narrative prequel Before the Storm, True Colors is a strong return to form. The game's biggest issues boil down to an underwhelming romance option, and technical issues that should be fixed in the very near future via patches. With that being stated, it may be best to wait until the game does get those necessary patches before picking it up, if point-and-click adventures are a genre of enjoyment. True Colors produces an experience that can only be compared to slaying a monstrous foe during a town-wide live-action role-playing event.
I'll take that sword now, and the jewels!
We've gotten this far. We can beat him.
Give them to me!
Stirring him!
Fire blast!